All right, we got the flywheel on here with the nut on the outside. We've got Loctite on that nut. We put this cover on, and we've got our base gasket on here. We've got our lifters in there. We soaked those in oil, and now we're ready to go in with our pistons here. I've already put the clip on one side. I've started the pin on the other. Obviously, got our base gasket down at this point. So I try to push these rods all the way up so that we have got as much room to work with these pistons going onto those cylinders as possible. You just got to find the spot that these go through. Now, a little trick to getting these in, I like to stick some rags down in here, being careful not to damage that gasket when you do that. Obviously, make sure they're clean rags. So slide these clips up in there. Then I take a pick and I'll find that groove that you use to pull the pin out, and then you just kind of use your fingers to push that circlip in there off the bottom of your pick. Now I'm going to slide that one forward. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I'll hold it with one hand. This will allow you to see a little bit better. Use your pick there, keep it pressed up there, and slide it in with this finger. There you go. Make sure it's seated completely. Now your clips are all in and you're all set there. We've used oil, lubed up this cylinder really well, and now we're ready to put our pistons on there. One thing that you've probably heard time and time again, make sure that your rings are not, all the open ends aren't all at the same side. You want to try to offset those as much as possible. The nice thing is about these cylinders is the bottoms are tapered, so it kind of makes it a little bit easier to get these rings on there. The next thing, you want to make sure you're not digging into the gasket, and just kind of keep an eye in all areas so you're not pushing a ring out of its place there. If you are, stop, pull up just slightly. Don't pull up too far, otherwise you're going to redo everything again. And then you can kind of see here, make sure, look in the open skirts of the cylinder, or yeah, the cylinder barrels there, to make sure nothing's sticking, make sure nothing's poking down. And we've got one that looks like is holding us up here, this little oil ring here. So I'm gonna take a screwdriver and just kind of flatten that out. It's pulled up a little bit. So careful you don't pull it up all the way, or you'll end up doing the whole thing again. I want to make sure that these are in the right position before going back together. So, yep, we just had an open end there, right at the skirt. So that's what's, there we go. Okay, now we're on. Slide it down into your block there. Again, kind of checking on the way to make sure everything's sealing properly. I'd take and wipe this excess off. Now we've got our head gasket here. Slide that on there. It goes one way is all it'll go if you have your dowel pins in there. It sits up, those dowel pins sit in there really low. So, one thing I wanted to show you before I put the cylinder on there, obviously not going to pull it up now, but those pistons, since we're switching this to an 800, they're actually going to be smaller. So if you hold them side by side, I'm gonna say they're probably 3/8 of an inch shorter, maybe even close to a 1/2 inch shorter. So that's the difference between that allows that rod to come up higher out of that off that crank, and so those valves aren't hitting. We better put our push rods in there. I like to make sure these are clean. Obviously, I like to dab the top and the bottom. You can just stick it if you've got a little container of oil there. Stick your bottoms in there. So same thing with the tops, dab oil, dab oil, dab oil. Just to like to keep things lubricated. But these are one of the 2 screws on here that are torqued down, and they are torqued down to, book says somewhere in the 23 range. Actually, a lot of people break those off at 23, so I like to do 18 foot-pounds. It's plenty enough torque on there. Now we're going to slide our head on here. Make sure they all go in their separate grooves. So slide these on, make sure there's washers on the top there. These are all the same size. Bull nose rockers, that's all right. Easy enough to do. So 10 millimeter. These are torque down to like 21 foot-pounds, somewhere in that area. Start with the middle ones, then do the outside, and crisscross pattern. That way that gasket comes down evenly. And then you go ahead and torque those to 51, 53, somewhere in that range. So that's the order you do those in. Just kind of snug them up here. They're not even, I mean, these are pretty much finger tight at the point they are now. The motor will be running. Okay, I've got it set now at 20, let's do 23. Sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge to do that, especially when you get to this harder torque to hold this motor. That's where my second set of hands would come in handy. I think it's just, might be easier. I hate putting an extension on here. For this one, it's going to be okay. But for the 50 foot-pounds, one's done. Go over here to this crisscross. Make sure your intake boot is good. That's a fairly common problem, is for those intake boots to start leaking. This 700 doesn't have the sensor on it that I believe all the 800s do. And that's another common problem on these Polarises, is that sensor. Yep, now we're going to step this up to 50. We'll do 52 because I can't remember. Make sure they're started. There's a groove. There's a groove for those rockers to sit in. So make sure those are in the right spot. Make sure your cupped end is on your push rod side. We also need the dipstick. I leave that for last because the motor decides to lay down, beat up that dipstick pretty good. So, all right. Put our head cover here, replace that gasket. And we've got a gasket, exhaust gasket here that gets replaced as well. Now this one is the dipstick bolt there. All right, this motor is pretty much done. We've got our starter left and dipstick, which I may not even put that dipstick in until we get it in the machine. These are little bolts, so be careful you don't torque these down too much and break them off. All right, this is for our starter here. Replace our oil filter and slide our starter in there. Make sure that these O-rings are good when you go to put that starter on there. You don't want water and debris. If that starter doesn't go on there right away, maybe pull it out, spin that gear a little bit, and try it again, because what's happening a lot of times is that gear's hitting that hitting on that starter drive gear. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil on there just so that slides in easier. It's got to go in there straight too, or it won't. There we go. And they need them both. All right, so that is rebuilding a Polaris Ranger 700, 800, and 900. And so if you've got questions, let me know. I'm going to change out this oil filter at this point, and I'm going to throw this motor in quick. Put the exhaust manifold on. Make sure you check that his exhaust manifold's really good. A lot of times they'll crack. We had to replace this one, so just keep an eye on there. You'll hear an exhaust leak if that's the case. So, all right, thanks for watching. If you've liked this video, please subscribe, like, and share this. If you have videos that you'd like me to make, let me know those. I work on stuff all the time. I've got different machines in here constantly, and tear down, rebuild, a lot of different motors. So, thanks for watching.